evening. I was going to drive home first and then do my review, and I thought, no, don't do that, Katie. Apparently I'm quite stern with myself. I much prefer my reactions to be like straight away. And sometimes I think a bit of reflection would be a good idea, but I don't often listen to advice, my own or anybody else's. So I've just been to see a new horror film called Hokum. This is a film from Irish writer, director Damian McCarty, she says doubtfully. I just looked him up. So this is his third film, I believe, that he's written and directed. There was Caveat, Oddity, and then this. And I'll be honest and say that I haven't seen the other two. But I came to see this one because I will come and watch. I was going to say I'll come watch pretty much anything. That's a barefaced lie. I won't. I am quite discerning. But I do like horror films. The lead actor in this is Adam Scott, who I absolutely adore. You may know him from such things as Severance. I was going to say Succession. Then I was like, no, that's the wrong TV show starting with S. Severance and Parks and Rec and The Good Place and many, many other things. So yeah, I like Adam Scott a lot. And this looked interesting, so I thought I'd give it a bash. It is very entertaining. It's creepy as, man. Proper. I was watching it through my cardigan, like I was doing that, like literally watching through the cardigan. I was like, what is the point of being here if you're not actually watching the screen? So Adam Scott plays a writer called Ohm Bauman. That's a name, isn't it? O-H-M, Ohm Bauman. And he is a writer. He's not a particularly nice chap, and he's struggling to finish off a book series that he's been writing, and he decides to take a jaunt to Ireland because his parents, now deceased, took their honeymoon in Ireland and stayed at a particularly whimsical Irish hotel. This gentleman in high vis walking past me. Can you see them? They're very visible. They took their honeymoon in this little Irish hotel, the Bilberry Hotel, on the edge of some woods. And there's a really lovely picture of his mum there in the woods. And he thought, wouldn't it be nice to take the ashes and scatter them around this tree in this picture of my mum when she looked at her happiest. So he takes the jaunt across to Ireland and goes to the hotel. And it is a traditional sort of Irish, she says traditional, I was going to say, it's a traditional Irish woodland hotel. Like, I've never visited such a thing. I went to Dublin once over 20 years ago. I did not stay in any woodlands. But yeah, it's a little bit, it's quite quaint and traditional, maybe a little bit old-fashioned. And he's not a very, like I say, he's a bit spiky, he's a bit grumpy, he's not very nice to the locals, but he goes and scatters the ashes in the woods. He meets a gentleman called Jerry, who's fond of drinking potions made out of the mushrooms that grow in the woods. So he's got a big beard and he's clearly crackers. But there's a rumour that the hotel is haunted, and the honeymoon suite where he thinks his parents might have stayed is locked off. The owner, Mr. Cobb, who's a creepy old bastard, he says no, nobody goes in the honeymoon suite. There's a witch up there. We've trapped her in 20 odd years. I don't think they say how long, but they say a very long time. Nobody's allowed in the honeymoon suite because there's a witch. So you've got two stories working alongside each other. There's the actual, is there anything supernatural actually at work in this hotel? Is there really a witch? There's a nice bit of sort of like Irish folklore, sort of what people believe. Is it just about having your mind open to such things? Like, just such things just exist at all times? Ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to call them, witches and so on. Are they just there and we're closed off to them? Or are they in fact not real at all? So that's kind of going on. But then there's another story involving Ohm and the lovely bar lady Fiona, who he gets chatting to, not in a romantic way. They're just having the crack. And she very much believes in all this stuff. And I don't want to say too much more because spoilers, and I don't do spoilers because anybody who does is a dick, quite frankly. So I didn't really know what I was letting myself in for. I'd checked a review online. I watched Mark Kermode's review because I take his opinions very seriously. I don't always agree with him, but most of the time I do, because let's face it, he knows his stuff. So I didn't really know what I was walking into, other than it was a horror film with Adam Scott set in Ireland. It is all of those things. It's properly creepy, and they do a really good job, or I should say he does a really good job, Damian McCarty, because it is both written and directed by him, of really sort of ratcheting up tension. Like, I was on edge, let me tell you. As I say, I watched good chunks of it through my cardigan, because I didn't know what was going to happen, and it doesn't lean into too many of the tricks, what Mark Kermode calls the quiet bang, where, you know, loud music does all of your work for you and you don't actually have to create any tension. You can just do it with music and quiet, bah! And then your audience will jump. And this is well crafted and slow build and has some really decent jump scares and some proper creepy characters. And as alongside the sort of supernatural horror, there's also the horror of man and what people can do to each other. And as I say, I don't want to give too much away because there was a whole plot element that I had no idea about and didn't see coming. So yeah, really good. Under 2 hours. It must be more than an hour and a half. No films are an hour and a half. Although maybe. No, a bit longer. But yeah, good run time, great performances. I didn't know and I didn't recognise any of the Irish cast members. It was Adam Scott was the only person in it that I knew from anything else, but yeah, really entertaining, really creepy, good story. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. What I saw of it, that wasn't through my cardigan. I did see it really, I did. It's just a bit frightened. I love horror films, but I also detest them as well because, yeah, I am scared. Once they're over, I'm their biggest fan, but in the middle of it, I kept me like, is it nearly finished? How much more trauma have I got? So yeah, it's a thumbs up from me if you like horror films. If you don't watch it. It will frighten the pants off you. There you go, that's a good review, isn't it? Right, I'm going to drive home now. Once I scratch my nose. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. Katie out.